one thing I noticed in the flipbook that we just did is that none of the agents were actually constrained, and that's because stupidly I left this turned on, so make sure that's turned off. Another thing I want to do in here is bump up the gravity. I'm just going to put this to -20, get more of a sense of weight to our agents. Also, we haven't looked at the constraint network values yet. Most of these are pretty good at defaults normally. I'm just going to raise up the constraint force mixing. As you can see, if I leave my cursor over it, it says it makes the constraints a bit spongier, so a bit more organic, I would say, right? And also I'm going to raise the bias factor, which tries to, because our simulation is pretty violent, we got very high velocities in there, and raising this up so that the agents can correct the constraints quicker, basically. Okay, so I put that to the top limit, the recommended between 0.2 and 0.5, so I put it up to 0.5. Good. And in here, so I want to look at these pop forces, so I'm going to add another 2. So this one is fine for our big large scale force. So I want to add another one for a smaller scale force, more for that kind of typical aeroplane turbulence that you get, like the kind of bumpy, normal, small scale bumps that we get. And then this bigger noise is more like the really dramatic, throwing the agents across around the aeroplane. So I'm going to mix the two together. Let's see. So the big difference here is so smaller amplitude and a very small pulse length. Okay, so this is as you can see, the duration of the lowest frequency in time. So the change in the waves will be very quick. And then I'm going to push up the roughness and the turbulence to 8 there. Don't need any offset. So that will give us a very sharp kind of sharp, quick, small scale movements. Okay. And also the last one I want to add another pop force here, will be for the big push at the end. Okay, so for this one we only want it working at after frame 100. So I'm just going to drop $FF for the simulation frame is more than 100. Okay, and what I'm going to do is use a Vex expression for this, because what I want is the forces to the back to be stronger than at the front, right? Which makes sense. So we'd have more as soon as they're out of the space at the back, that they fly out really, really quickly. Okay, and then it kind of dies down towards the front of the plane. So I'm going to just get rid of the chairs for a moment and turn off these glue constraints and just look at our agents from the side. And in terms of space, they're going pretty much from -25 to 25. So I'm going to use that as a fit for the force. Okay. A little tip for this: they've got some handy kind of presets in here, randomizing the magnitude. I got stuck because I was trying to type @force, and I couldn't get access to the force attribute. And then I had a look at these presets, and I noticed you just write the name of the attribute alone. So yeah, a couple of presets there which can be handy to use. So what I'm going to do, we're affecting the force. Okay, I'm going to set that. Oops. So we're pushing in, if we take a look here, in Z. Okay, so setting it to 0 in X, 0 in Y, and then for Z we're going to fit this Okay. Using the position attribute in Z. Okay. And we're going to fit it from, like I said, they go from -25 to 25. So -25 to 25. And then we're going to fit that between some pretty high values, 10,000 and what do I have here? 80,000. Something like that. So maybe for the moment, if I, let's see, if I delete these channels, so it's just always on now, and then turn these off, just so we can see this in action from the beginning, and they should just shoot out. See that? So there's a bit of a difference there. See, the agents at the back are flying much quicker. If I drop this down to 0 here, it'll be more dramatic, the change. Let me reset it. Let's go out. Try that again. Yeah, so it seems like the ones at the back going much quicker. Also the -25, if I put that to like -20. Yeah, you see these guys are not moving so fast now. And when they move back, they move into that area and start to move quickly. Okay, so I'll put that back to how I had it. So -25, and I had this at 10,000. Like that. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything ready to go. Bring that stuff back in. Oh yeah, get rid of the ground plane in case when they shoot out the back we don't want them hitting the ground. One more thing, we can increase the stiffness of the constraints a little bit here. Okay, we have access to this. I'm just going to put that up to 5. Just stiffen them up a little bit, again because we've got such a violent simulation. And I think that's us ready to, pretty much ready to cache. Let's do one more flip book from inside, about here. One thing you can do, by the way, I'm not sure if you'll see it in here, if you press D and go into your geometry, and then for, let's see, where is it? This wire over packed geometry. See that? I have that turned on, so it just helps me visualize packed geometry a bit better. Okay, and then I'm going to go into full screen, make a very simple camera angle here. Maybe I'll control and click, just drop a camera there. Don't know what's happened there. We've come out, okay, because we're in the crowd source. There we go. Let's go into full screen and run a flipbook. I want to get the bits at the end as well, so I'll just do like 150 and we'll discuss that once it's finished. Before we start, actually, I just noticed I'm going to cancel that. And I realize I've left, I can see them being pushed back straight away. And that's because I forgot to change back the activation on this, right? So that was, what was it? $FF is more than 100, like that, okay. Right, now, flipbook. Right, the flipbook is done, so let's take a look. It's pretty violent, maybe a bit too much, a bit over the top. You can see these kind of arms kind of flailing and wobbling a bit unnaturally there. But you know, the part at the end is cool. So you see the back of the plane fly away, and then a load of these the agents flying out the back. These are constrained to the chairs as well, as if they've got seatbelts on, which is good. So yeah, we'll go back and maybe try and sort this out, you know, try and calm it down a bit, I think.